All right, Microsoft had some big news today, finally releasing a speedier version of its market-leading Internet Explorer browser. Now, the new IE9, which can be downloaded today, adds privacy controls and some video features. And under the hood, it's using a protocol called HTML5. This should make IE9 faster than the jalopy that was IE8. And yes, it's all about the need for speed. But this IE launch is important for two reasons. First, Microsoft has been losing browser market share. A year ago, it had 62% of the browser market. But now Microsoft has a 57% share of the browser market. Mozilla's Firefox at 21%, Google Chrome 11%, and Apple Safari at 6%. Now, the other reason this is an important story for the browser, it was once an add-on feature to the operating system, but now it's a virtual operating system onto itself. Little companies like maybe Facebook have launched entire businesses on the browser, making the operating system somewhat irrelevant. And that's why we've entered into a new chapter in the browser wars. At least a half dozen companies trying to build a faster, safer, stronger browser regardless of operating system.
Now, in a bid to regain market share lost to Firefox and Google's Chrome, Microsoft just released the update to Internet Explorer. IE9 said to be quicker, with new privacy controls and video features. With a preview of Microsoft's new browser, we're joined by Brian Hall, the general manager of the Windows Live Business Group as Microsoft, all the way down here from Seattle. Thanks for joining us today. So tell me about this update. Why will users like this better?
I think the most important thing, most people that use a browser, they don't think about their browser that much. They think about the sites that they're trying to go to. And so the most important thing is that we've made those sites faster. We've cleaned up the UI so that the sites can take center stage. And we've enabled a bunch of great new platform support with HTML5, as Cory mentioned, that makes it so that sites can feel just like native apps in Windows, not like something that's caught within a browser.
So we know IE9 has lost market share. Why do you think you've lost that market share, and what have you learned from that?
I think you have to start with where our market share is across versions of Internet Explorer. If you look, we released Internet Explorer 6 back with Windows XP in 2001. And if you look at the market share loss that we've had over the last couple of years, it's mostly been from IE6 and IE7 decreasing in usage, which in many cases is a great thing. Those are old browsers. At the same time, IE8 and now IE9, even as a beta, we had over 40 million downloads. 2% of people that use Windows 7 are using IE9 today. And so we've been able to make it so that with the newer browsers, they're actually growing share. It's just our legacy that's losing share.
Hey, Brian, let me ask you about the new, I don't even know what you call it. You've got this new thing where you drag an icon. I know you don't call it a bookmark. It sure looks like a bookmark to me. But explain to me how that works. You click on a site and you drag something and you keep that image at the bottom of the page somewhere?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's one of the things that we're most excited about with IE9. If you think about it, bookmarks are 15 years ago. And they were all about when you went to the browser, how you could get to the sites that you cared about today. Now, as we look at how people use the PC today, over 50% of their time is now in the browser. So forcing them to only be able to get to the sites that they care about by going to the bookmarks didn't make very much sense. So we introduced something with Windows 7 called pinning applications that made it so that any program that you used most often, like Outlook for me, I could add to the taskbar and it was immediately available right from there. With Internet Explorer 9, you can do that exact same thing with websites. So as an example, I have a 5-year-old son named Barty who plays Purple Place, which is a real Windows application, and then he also plays an educational math game called Dreambox. Before, to get to Dreambox, he'd have to load the browser, type in the URL, or figure out how to use the bookmarks, and that meant that my wife or I normally had to do it for him. Whereas now he can just see the picture right at the bottom of Windows 7, click on it, and he's right in his Dreambox account.
Now I'm really disturbed that my 5-year-old knows how to open up the browser, can already find these sites. This is worrisome. But let me ask you also, when you test this stuff, do you put a bunch of people in a room and watch them use it and do that over sort of a series of time and iterations of the product? Or do you just have engineers who try to make it great and put it out there?
We have a bunch of different ways that we do the testing for the browser. The most important one that we do is we collect data in a completely anonymized fashion from the billion-ish users of Internet Explorer. So we can tell you exactly how many people have used any given feature of the browser. It was actually super important for us in this release of the browser in particular because we were able to focus on, number one, which are the features that people use the most often, and we got rid of all the others, meaning that we were able to make the browser much cleaner. to put more space for the site. And then secondly, we could look at the types of sites that they were going to, and we could optimize our performance for the real world of the web, not just benchmarks, which is what a lot of people have to do, but we're able to see what are the sites that people are going to and interacting with most. And then we built all of our performance tuning and performance tests specifically for those types of sites.
All right, Brian Hall, really excited to use this new Internet Explorer update. Thank you so much for coming down from Seattle.
Thank you.
Sorry the weather couldn't be better for you today.